Hey everybody, it's Chris here from the Whistle Stop Cafe in Mirror, Alberta. And believe it or not, I'm actually in Mirror, Alberta. Can you believe that? Isn't that something? I'm never in Mirror, Alberta. It's always, oh, I'm here or I'm there or I'm, everywhere. And I actually do feel like I've been everywhere in the last little while. It's been absolutely insane. A couple months ago, we started an initiative called Let's Talk Alberta. Since then, we've done I think 25 or something events. So I've been from one corner of the province to the other. As a matter of fact, in the last couple days, in the last week, I was in Wembley, then I was in Peace River. I flew from Peace River that night down to Red Deer, drove out to Mirror, got home at 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning, picked up the whistle bus that morning, drove it to the Jason Levine event to prepare to do lunch there, spoke at that event, wrapped up the whistle bus, hit the airplane, back up to Spirit River, and did a event in Rycroft last night, and then drove back to Mirror this afternoon. I didn't even make it home. I had to go straight to Bible study because it started at 5 o'clock. I made it there by 5:20, and then raced home after for a live stream with Berta Proud Dad, good friend of mine now. Now, I just want to mention, yes, I know the date was wrong in that intro. My time is I have very little time these days, and I've wanted to do podcasts and live streams, and I'm just having a hard time finding time to do it. As a matter of fact, when I go and do these events, these speaking events, there's times where I'm actually on a Zoom call with another meeting, like during the first speakers, and then I got to race back into the building and deliver my speech into the Q&A period. So time is tight. That's why you don't see me on very much. But I wanted to do a episode with my friend Lawrence, Berta Proud Dad, today, because we got some really important things to talk about. And we wanted to talk about one specific thing, but now the whole world has just gone even crazier than usual, and there's a lot to talk about. So instead of wasting time yapping on my own here, I'll bring on my good friend Berta Proud Dad, and we'll get talking about last week's events. How's it going, Lawrence?
Good, man. Good. I hope you're well. And I know you're all over the province, and I just want to thank you, from me and my family for doing everything you're doing. I've been at a couple of those events with you, speaking at those events as well. You're 10x that though, right? I will say though, I will be in Delburn. You asked me, I believe yesterday, if I can make it out to Delburn. So Berta Proud Mom and myself will go up to Delburn for that one as well. So it'll be good to see you again there. But yes, we have turned into great friends, and it's crazy. It's crazy how that works, right? Like for a very long time, I watched you from the shadows. I don't comment on a lot of people's things, but watched you from the shadows. And then we met in person for the first time up at the UCP convention.
The AGM, and then,
yeah. And then from then, we're speaking on the same stages and everything else. And it's just kind of flourished, and we have a lot in common, and both entrepreneurs and both love our province and both want what's best for the future. So it just kind of works.
Yeah, it's been pretty interesting. And it's funny how things work out the way they do. We go through these things, and, all these doors close, and sometimes we wonder what's going on, and some interesting door opens and we walk through it, and boom, everything changes. So it's, there's a reason for everything, and it's a real blessing to be part of it. Thank you for your kind words about the initiative that we're trying to do with the Let's Talk Alberta. I actually consider it a huge privilege to be able to travel around the province and speak to fellow Albertans about the future of Alberta. It's a super important conversation. I don't think there's really any conversation more important than that right now, unless, of course, you need to talk about your health, because if you don't have your health, you don't have anything. But it's super important that we talk. And that's why we're calling it Let's Talk Alberta right there. You can go to letstalkalberta.com, and we do our absolute best to make sure it's updated with the upcoming events. And I think there's a lot of upcoming events on there. Delburn, of which is a pierogi supper. So really looking forward to that one.
I'm finally going to get pierogies. Nice. I miss all the pierogi ones. So yeah, I'm pretty pumped for that. And you mentioned health in there. And when you and I talked, we're both doing this initiative that we feel it's very important to share with everybody, that, I'm going to let you kind of take it away with that. But I just want to preface it with, I've lost so much trust in the system, like many of our followers have, in in the past 10 years in all systems, pharmaceutical companies, health practitioners, whatever you might want to call it. I've lost so much trust in that. And that's why I wanted to, when we were talking, I wanted to bring this together and not just talk politics all the time, but actually show people different alternatives. So I was trying to preface it with that.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's, I actually put that in the description. So in the description, I put live with Berta Proud Dad, this week's wrap up, because there's a lot to talk about of what's happened this week with floor crossings. And, now I noticed I would assume if we were in the same rooms together, Billboard Chris would be a friend of ours because we're both very conservative, but he's speaking out against Alberta independence. I just noticed that on X. So that's recently come on my radar. The petition and my trip to Kansas. My trip to Kansas has to do with what you were talking about lack of trust. I want to mention one more area where I have started to have my my trust tested, and that is podcasts. Because, I'm sent things all the time by people, as I'm sure you are as well. And so I'm really into silver and gold. I'm really into that. I think it's fascinating. I love having a safe with things like that. Not in my house, folks, just in case anyone has any ideas. You definitely don't want to come in my house if I don't know you're here, by the way, just be forewarned. I'm really interested in those types of things, and I completely lost my train of thought there. Thinking about
you're talking about the podcast. So you told me yesterday about this, and I think it's important to talk about. Yeah.
So I got this series of videos from a podcaster influencer talking about the silver market. I'm like, wow, this Asian dude really knows what he's talking about. Really smart, delivers a fantastic episode of this podcast. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, something's weird. This isn't right. Something's off to me. Then I find out he's completely 100% AI generated. It's an AI podcast. And then I watched a few more, and these are things people are sending me. And there's this old guy, and he's delivering a podcast, perfectly scripted, eyes dead stead ahead, not looking at a teleprompter like our friend Anthony. And I'm like, this is odd. And then I found out that was AI too. So now my trust in what I see on the internet is even further diminished, because they can take anybody and make it look like anybody's saying anything. So all of the sudden, we're going to find ourselves, I believe, and we talked about this last night, in a position where we need the human interaction. We need to get together in rooms again so that we can shake hands, hug. We know that the people that we're talking to are legitimate. And you and I talked about doing some events where we're like, live podcasts where maybe we bring in some music. Actually, they used to do that. You remember that? David Letterman. He used to do that.
Yes, sir. And having a little speaking tour, but you bring in guests, you're on stage, the crowd's there, you do your show, then you do a Q&A, and it's not just about Alberta independence, about current events. It could be about absolutely anything. Yep. And it like I said yesterday, people are missing that sense of community. And I get it. I get life is busy. People are working 2 or 3 jobs nowadays just to pay bills. I understand that, but bringing back a little bit of sense of community where we can tour around and go and shake hands. That's my favorite part. Honestly, the public speaking's great, but my favorite part of going to these events, Chris, is actually talking face to face with people. And the amazing part is they always don't agree with you. And you get to actually learn another perspective, and you can have really good dialogue and discussion face to face. And that's something we miss on the internet.
Yeah. And we get that when we're face to face, if we disagree with something, we're much less likely to be dinks to each other because we're right there and we have the human connection, right? So it's a lot, I don't know. I believe humans feed off each other's energy. And when you're in a space together and you're disagreeing about something, there's something else present there that prevents you from dehumanizing the person you disagree with or them doing that to you. And the conversation is much, much different. And I'm really looking forward to getting more of that in the coming months. Not just with the Let's Talk Alberta tour, but with, maybe some live podcasts, things like that. I think that'd be so much fun.
Well, I want to hear from the chat too, in the comments, right? For people who are watching the replay as well. Would they go to something like that? Right? Would they be willing to come and watch a panel of people just discuss current events, and then have their opportunity to be part of the show in a Q&A session or something like that.
Yep.
Make it really interactive, and don't just come bringing the things you agree with us with. Let's have discussions of things we don't agree. I'm just curious if people would be down for that.
Yeah, put it in the comments, folks. If you if you are into something like that and you'd like to come to, say, for example, we were in Fox Creek. They had and this is, I'm not saying we're doing something there. I'm just saying this is what I was thinking when I was there. Fantastic facility, great stage, lots of space, awesome kitchen. We could do barbecue and beer out of the kitchen and have live music and a podcast. If you folks are into something like that, let us know, and we'll make it happen, because that would be a fun thing to do. It's
important, I have things on my priority list, right? So Alberta independence, obviously one of them. My health is another one of them. And then now this has been added to my priority list, like public education. I'm super passionate about that. But this one is now added to my priority list because community is important. And you and I and other people that are here watching us right now see the comments and the comment section. And you're very right about the dehumanizing aspect. And I think I have an answer to why it's different when we're in person. It's, you can be punched in the mouth really, really easily.
There is that, yeah.
When you're face to face with somebody, right? That's one, because we know a lot of these people are cowards in the comment sections. We understand that. But two, it's actually a real human, and you can see their body language, and you can actually you can hear their tone. That's what I hate about text messages a lot of the times, right? We live in the era, both of us, and a lot of people in the chat, where we never used to have text messages. That never existed. Right. And then we had to learn a whole new way to communicate. And when you're texting with somebody and it still happens, and you're like, man, that guy's an a-hole. You know what I mean? What does he mean? And then you call him up on the phone and it's like, no, I didn't mean it like that. And I think that's a lot with comments happen, is they just think, they type it and we might get it the wrong way. But a lot of the times you can tell that they're trying to do something. But I just think it's important to bring a conversation together and build community surrounding, being in a room with people. I think we could do something great with that.
Yeah. And, folks, in a world that is quickly digitizing, if not digitized, how great would it be to be able to do that again? Everybody wonders, oh, is that person real? Is this real? Is the narrative real? Are they psyops, whatever? Well, it's a little different when you're face to face. So yeah, if you guys are down, we're down, and we'll start planning stuff like that. Maybe we could even incorporate it into some of the Let's Talk Alberta dates, because I'm already going to be doing something, so we could just do some sort of a live event. It'd be awesome. What are some of the things that we would be talking about right now if we were at one of those events? What's on your mind right now, Lawrence?
Well, tomorrow's the by-elections, right? And whatever. I've already come to terms, and I already knew this was going to happen, that he was going to get a majority. Mark Carney was going to get that majority. Marilyn Gladue, who was actually, if you look back, and I was talking to some members of parliament on the Conservative side within the past, 2 days. And I'm not friends with these people. They follow me and everything else. And I got in their DMs and took a shot, and they responded. So she's a conservative. If you look back at her history, she's actually a conservative. She supported us in the trucker convoy. She supported a lot of conservative initiatives throughout the country. And just to flip the script, just to change her whole identity overnight and then walk across the floor, and really secure a majority for Mark Carney is out of character for her. But is it really? She's a career politician. She's been in politics for a long time. And again, it just drives home Alberta independence, because I came to Alberta independence after watching people like you for a very, very, very long time and disagreeing with you, not respectfully though. It was always respectful, and saying I still believe in a sovereign Alberta with a united Canada and I want to fix Canada. It was floor crossing, which actually, that was my line that got me over the edge. Right. And now I'm here supporting Alberta independence wholeheartedly, and my conservative values that go along with that, and my faith and my family and my freedom. And, watching that happen is just freedom being taken away from the Canadians and their voice being taken away. And the audacity of her to have the letter that she issued to her constituents that said, basically, my constituents told me to do this. You cannot find one conservative constituent in Marilyn Gladue's riding that told her to do this on the internet anywhere.
Yeah. And this isn't just a small thing, folks. if you consider what the Liberal Party of Canada stands for and what the Conservative Party of Canada stands for, I hear this thing all the time. Oh, it's just two wings of the same bird. Well, they are quite different, right? Our Liberal government, they believe in expanding MAID. They believe in ending babies' lives. They believe in more and more control. They believe in jailing people for their thoughts and expressions. Like these are completely incompatible with true conservative values, right? So it's not just a small thing. And when she said it was good for her to cross the floor and do that, I don't know what could be that good for me that I would be willing to sacrifice my core values to join a team that believed in things that I don't. And now, especially with what I saw coming out of that, what was that, a Liberal convention or something where they're talking again about the New World Order? I think it was Mark Carney's wife, in fact.
Yeah, so he did that earlier in China when he went to China with Michael Ma, mentioned New World Order, and now he sent his wife out into the shit show and to send her out to do it.
Yeah, and what is the New World Order? Does anybody know what the New World Order is? It's basically flipping it from people have inherent liberties and rights to people must be fully controlled by government. This is the kind of thing like what China's doing with their social credit system. They literally have installed cameras everywhere in the cities, and they have facial recognition for their safety. But now those cameras do things like see them spit out their chewing gum on the street. It sees their face, issues them a fine, reduces their social credit score, like full control. That's what the New World Order is. It's where things like the family unit, culture, religion, arts, personal property, personal business ownership they're not sustainable according to them. This is a completely different thing from what even the most progressive of conservatives would believe. And that's what Mark Carney stands for. And that's what the Liberal government stands for. And a conservative MP just went there. So it's completely out of left field. And I'm interested to find out exactly why. Maybe we never will. Right.
Well, yeah, we probably won't. You're right. And like with everything else. But what I like to tell people is we got to remind ourselves the Liberal Party of today is not the Liberal Party that our grandparents supported, or if you had a grandparent that did. It is not the same. The Liberal Party of today is the party that wants you to be dependent of them wholeheartedly. This is the same Liberal Party that's discussing UBI, right? Well, what is universal basic income? It's a form of communism. It's mass socialism, a form of communism. What will end up happening after UBI is bread lineups again will start. We already have the largest food bank lineups we've ever seen. You'll have families standing in line for food for their rations. They're getting their universal basic income. They're cogs in a wheel. They do their little working bees. They do the work, and then they go home, and we're all paid evenly. We're all fully dependent on government. That's what the Liberal Party of Canada wants. That's what they want. Everybody, it's a classless system. That's literally what they want. The Conservatives don't want that. And I'm not saying the Conservatives are perfect. They're far from perfect. But what I'm saying is they don't want to push you into poverty and make you dependent on them for everything in your life.
Right. And it is, they're completely incompatible values. So it's just, it's mind blowing that it even happens, but it happens. And it really drives home the reason why Alberta needs to take control of their wealth and affairs. You mentioned food banks. I was in Holland, a few years ago now, I guess 3 or maybe 4 years ago, 3 years ago, I guess. And my friend Jasper Smith was telling me that Holland had just rolled out food banks. Like it wasn't a thing before. Holland is the Netherlands is the breadbasket of Europe. They produce a ton of food. They feed everybody. And they never had food banks. So things got so bad in Holland that they rolled out food banks, and the government's like, oh, well, it doesn't matter that you're poor and starving. We've got food banks now so you can eat, right? And it's like, okay, connect those dots there. What does it mean when people start to rely on the government for their survival? After Trump went in and took Maduro in Venezuela, I watched some interviews with some people from Venezuela. And this sits close to home because when I worked in Colombia, I actually watched the people walking from Venezuela through South America to wherever they were going. I watched them set up shanty towns in the jungle where I was working. And so I'm familiar with this issue. So the question was asked, why did you not just change your government? Why didn't you vote these people out? And the reason was because the government convinced the people, they gave them bread boxes, food boxes. They issued them food boxes. And they said, if you stop supporting us, you're not going to get the food boxes anymore. The next government won't give you that food box and you're going to die. So they just kept supporting a tyrant who absolutely ruined their country. It got that bad in Venezuela, right? And that's what happens when people start to depend on government. And UBI is just a continuation of what's already happening in Canada with that socialism creeping more into the hardcore socialism bordering communism.
Well, and that's just it, right? So people act like in Canada we're just safe, right? And what people fail to realize is Canada is a young country. We are a very young country. And, you know, we're due for something major to happen. Countries don't last forever. Some of them last a lot longer than others. I watched a YouTube video. This is probably 5 years ago now. Just right when I got on social media, when I started watching social media, it was 50 countries that don't exist in the next 50 years. And Canada was on the list.
Wow.
Canada was literally on the list. And people, like, I get it. It's a hard thing to grasp. But when you look at $1.3 trillion in debt, and I say this at all the events that we go to, $1.3 trillion in debt is where we are today. Stephen Harper left us with $580 billion in 2015, Canada's national debt. That's almost $800 billion has been added just under 11 years of Justin Trudeau and now Mark Carney. Mark Carney just doubled his deficit from November to now. Wow. If you're running a home, how long is that sustainable? It's just not. You will go bankrupt. And that is what's happening. We are watching it with our eyes. The thing is, though, is when you indoctrinate your base and brainwash your base, you can tell your base anything. These people will literally vote themselves into submission, vote themselves into communism, vote themselves into poverty, as long as the blue guys don't win.
Yep. 100%.
It's insane.
And for those of you that we say 1.3 trillion fast, so it doesn't sound that big, but put it in perspective. I want you folks to think about this. I want you to think about $1 million sitting on the floor in a warehouse. Okay. $1 million. That's a lot. It's a big stack of money. Okay. Even if it's $100 bills, we don't have thousands anymore. So it'll be hundreds. Big stack of money. $1 billion is 1,000 piles of $1 million. $1 trillion is 1,000 warehouses filled with 1,000 piles of $1 million. This is a mind-blowing number. The interest that we pay on our national debt could fund most of the social programs that we have in Canada without ever affecting a taxpayer. That's how much money that is. It's absolutely insane.
Yep, it is insane.
And on that note, there's a comment in here from Chris Kipfer, I guess. And I want to read it, folks. It says, we do rely on the government for survival. The governments are the ones who are supposed to be there to protect our rights and freedoms, but they don't, and no one will hold them accountable. Chris, I felt exactly the same way you did in 2019. It started to change in 2020. I completely stopped thinking that as I was lying in jail for protesting. The governments aren't actually there to protect our rights and freedoms. Did you know that? Governments, historically, anyone who's governing, they try and take more rights and freedoms away. They try and take more from us. There is only one person who is supposed to protect your rights and freedoms, and that is you. Governments don't do it. And it took me 2022, so 43 years to learn that lesson. And it was a very hard lesson to learn. And I just wanted to make sure that you knew that it's us. We have to do it through initiatives like, participating civics or building a new nation of Alberta. We have to do it.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing that I find about governments is they need your money, right? So they need you to be that cog in the wheel, but what they also need is you to stay out of their way, so they can roll out their initiatives, because it's not like Justin Trudeau was not calling all the shots for Canada. Justin Trudeau's major donors were calling the shots for Canada.
Bingo.
Every single time somebody gives you money as a politician, there's a caveat to that. There's strings attached. These wealthy people don't go out and give money without expecting something back in return. So right out of the gate, the whole system is flawed. You can tear it all down from there. because these are not real people who actually, now, I'm not saying some of them don't get into it for the right reasons. I'm not saying that, because I'm thinking of myself of getting into politics, and it's got nothing to do with money. It's got about actually exposing what's happening and going on within government. And I have to be in government in order to be able to do that. But the thing is these people, they get this money, and then, well, next thing you know, it might, maybe not this year, maybe next year, they're like, hey, you know, Justin, we gave you that donation. Well, rent is due, bud. And it's time that we need to do this or do that or do the other thing. And then a lot of this stuff, I think, happens with extortion and blackmail. You've seen the whole Epstein Island thing, and a lot of people with Epstein. You can talk about that real quick, but I don't want to talk about a lot because we'll get banned. But the thing is Epstein was in the business of extortion. That's what he was in the business of.
Yeah.
Get you doing something on camera, and now I own you. Same exact thing happens in politics. We don't have a voice. We have a voice. We have to use we have to exercise that voice. You got to be willing to be like Chris and exercise that voice in action and go to prison, or go to jail. Sorry. I don't think you went to prison, right? You just went to jail.
No.
But the thing is, you got handcuffed, locked up, put in a cell.
And not in a fun way.
Not exactly, not in a fun way. And then they're trying to make an example out of you. And you're still fighting that. You're still fighting cases. And then they try to damage and destroy your reputation. They try all these things. So, you know, the government is not there to take care of you. And what is one of the number one funders of the government? The people who are lobbying the government daily, the pharmaceutical companies.
Bingo.
And what happened to us very recent, and I don't want to say it without getting banned. I'm not in the business of doing that. But what happened? And we watched at Jason and Paula Levine's show, right? We watched that documentary talking about the injuries from the jabs and everything else. The Sean Hartman story. I suggest everybody go and give that a watch. Give that a watch. I cried in that. That's my first time ever watching it. And I cried. My wife cried. There was people in the crowd crying. You know, and you know, they made trillions of dollars, these people, off of us. So to sit here and think that this is the stuff that goes in my head, and they say Alberta can't separate, Alberta can't leave, Alberta will never be independent. Well, we got to try. We have to try. We don't have a choice but to try, because we already know what the alternative is. We're living it. It's a nightmare. Yeah,
absolutely. You mentioned pharmaceutical companies.
Mm-hmm.
It is true that we've had some tremendous medical advances in technology, and there's some pharmaceutical products that have tremendous benefit to people all over the world, 100%. Yep. But I don't believe it's entirely, it's out of the goodness of their heart. It's a thing about shareholder value, right? It's a business of making money, and make money they do. To the point where pharmaceutical companies, I don't know if you know this, Lawrence. I think we talked about it before. They actually lobbied the government at one point, and this is quite a while ago in the United States. It happened in Canada more recent than that. But they lobbied the government to pass laws preventing the use of anything but pharmaceuticals to treat disease. Yep. Now, why would you do that? Why would you pass a law saying that you can't use, I don't know, milk thistle, for instance, to treat a liver problem? Why couldn't you use garlic, or pardon me, like silver for a throat lozenge, or zinc for a throat lozenge, or something, like, just examples, right? Why would they have to pass a law to do that? Well, because nature actually has a lot of medicine built into it. As a matter of fact, when pharmaceutical companies are studying to make drugs, they start with the original medicine, which is a plant, and then they build something synthetic so they can patent it, right?
Mm-hmm.
They make the law so that our money is funneled into what they do. And we don't pay attention to these things enough. We just think, oh, it's great. We get to go to the doctor for free in Canada, right? And then the doctor gives us something we can barely read. Well, it's emailed now. We get a prescription. We go to the pharmacy, and then we pay. Isn't that interesting? Yep. Our free healthcare results in us paying for drugs constantly. That's what we do. Why would they pass a law saying that you can't cure a disease with anything other than a pharmaceutical?
Well, because, when the goal is to keep you sick, and then they provide you hope through a pharmaceutical, this is just my answer, my opinion, they're going to continue to make money. And I actually push this. I push this out quite a bit when I'm doing my podcast talking about trans. Anybody who decides to go trans is a pharmaceutical company's wet dream, because they are on those pills and medication the rest of their life.
Interesting.
That's my answer.
You know, I've heard that before, and I actually I heard Billboard Chris talk about that. We're going to talk about him a little later, and it's kind of in the memory banks, but it never really comes out. That's a really good point, and we're talking over a lifetime millions of dollars, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in some places, it would be taxpayer funded. It would be part of the free healthcare, right? And access to the tax trough. What a that must be a conspiracy. Can't be true. So anyway,
yeah.
Let me tell you, this is a good segue into why I went down to Kansas. So I went down to Kansas to go to a MPG conference, and MPG is the company that makes that matured bitter hop extract that we've talked about before. Well, they launched a new product, and I'm kind of a nerd, and I'm watching how this is going, and I'm watching what it's doing, and I'm reading the history of it and the science behind it. And I was like, wow, this is really, really neat. And then I find out that if I go to the conference, I got early access to the product. So I was like, okay, well, I'm going to the conference. Well, let me tell you about the product. In the 80s, there was a farm. I'm going to do my best to get this right. I forgot to queue up the video, so this is all off the top of my head. In the 80s, there was research done on a nutraceutical, a natural compound called acemannan. Acemannan is part of an aloe plant. It's natural. It's a natural thing. And the research with acemannan was to see what effect it had on the body's immune system. And what they discovered was nothing short of miraculous. It was an incredible result. It bolstered immune response to the point that they used it in AIDS research. Remember you wouldn't remember. We're a little young. It was happening, but we wouldn't remember. In the mid 80s, AIDS research was huge because it was a fairly new disease. Yeah. People didn't understand it yet. People were dying. Freddie Mercury died of AIDS in 1991. That was not that long ago. So they're doing research on this. They're trying to build a pharmaceutical to intervene to stop or reverse AIDS. Well, in their studies with acemannan, what they found was by using that in the test subjects, I guess you'd call them, and this is all available. You can find the information online, and I'm going to do a blog article and post about it because I want people to sign up and buy this product because it works. The people that had AIDS, their immune system improved.
Did we lose him again, or is it just me? Anybody? We lost him. So you have me. This happened the last time. This happened the last time that we went live. Chris had to go out and then come back in, and he was just I don't know what he's about to say here. I don't. And I was like really into it. I was like lost in now it's just me. Is this real? Just kidding. This happened the last live stream Chris and I did. So I'm just going to pick up where he didn't leave off because I know nothing what he was going to say. But what he's segueing into is a health product, I'm assuming. But the thing is I'll tell you a little story. Chris approached me with the product months ago now. Now I don't have to tell you about anything because Chris is back.
Every time I've started talking about this, my internet goes out. I'm not even kidding you. This happened to us last time. This happened when I was talking to Allison Beeler. This happened when I was talking to Dr. Kareem Griffith, and it never, ever happens to me. I have redundant internet here, the best ExploreNet money can buy, and Starlink. They're supposed to switch automatically. But I'm not going to say why it happened. Anyway, Back to this research with acemannan. They found that the people that were using this product had an immune system boost. It made their immune system work the way it was intended to do. Oh, there's Berta's gone now too. And then their bodies were fighting the disease. And so this product was, am I still on? Yeah. This product was researched extensively by this pharmaceutical company, and they determined that the mechanism was real, it worked, and so they wanted to develop a drug that they could patent, that they could use for this. The man that was involved in the research, his name was, anyone know who did AIDS drugs research in the mid-'80s, folks? His name was Anthony Fauci. So Anthony Fauci and the pharmaceutical company doing the research rejected the research on the natural product in favor of synthesizing something that they could patent. And they developed that AIDS drug that was developed in the mid-'80s. Anyway, a private individual who wanted to do something with nutraceuticals got a hold of this, and he ended up making a product based on that, and that product was called Manitech. Well, that was big in the late 80s and early 90s, had some great results. He took the company public. That was a bad idea. It declined after that, and anyway, the product went off the market. We just got the licensing to that, and now that product's out. So, you know, I've been sharing it with people and trying to tell them, like, hey, if you are like me and you watched what Big Pharma did and the government did to us through COVID, by forcing people to buy things through tax dollars and inject them into their arms for their safety, and that stuff actually harmed and killed them. If you're sick of that, you should be looking at the things that maybe they're trying to suppress, right? That's why I went to Kansas. That's why I wanted to learn about this product, and that's why I stuck my neck out and I shared this with people, because it's a peer-to-peer commerce thing, right? So of course people automatically are going to write it off as whatever, but the reality of it is that it's a benefit, and it's aligned with what I believe people need to do, and that is become sovereign in more areas of their life.
You know what's wild? You mentioned, you can hear me, right? I don't know what happened there, man. Like, you got kicked out. He's going to get kicked out again. His internet just shifted again. Okay, hopefully I don't get kicked. You guys just stick with us. You know what's wild? I hear from people all the time that I don't trust the pharmaceutical industry. So I'll tell you a little bit about me. I have a disease called ankylosing spondylitis. These pharmaceutical people and my doctors, my rheumatoid arthritis doctor, who I don't even see anymore because that's a story for another day, want to give me this pen that I jab in my leg once a week that costs $2,300 a month. So it's $2,300. I'm self-employed, ladies and gentlemen, as you know. And I don't know what's in it. Okay. Not only that, I don't talk about this often, but a byproduct of my addiction, a lot of you guys know that I'm an addict in recovery. And being an addict in recovery, you know, I'm super blessed. But when I was going through this cocaine addiction that I had, sober 5.5 years now, I gave myself what's called cocaine anxiety disorder. And it's not like your normal anxiety, okay? It's where you futuristic think or something bothering you, and then you end up building something up. This stuff just comes out of nowhere, okay? So for years, people have told me, try this, try that. And every single time this peer-to-peer marketing comes by, I say the same thing to every single person. I will try the product because I'm all for natural stuff. I hate the pharmaceutical companies. I refuse to do it, okay? I will try the product, and I said this to Chris when he came. I'll try it. If it don't work, I don't promote. That's simple. It's very easy. It's a very easy thing. Instead of being the normal, it's a scam, it's this, it's that. Like, I hear this a lot from people who sit there and say, I hate pharmaceutical companies and what they did to me. And then you try to provide them an alternative, and they're like, that's a scam. It's like, well, what do you do?
Yeah.
Like
No,
what
I'll go to the pharmacy.
Yeah. Like what exactly do you do? So he got me into a product. It's not the product that he was just talking about, but it's called Fix. Okay. And this is a hop extract. That's all it is. It's literally, that's what it is. And I put it in my drink once in the morning, once in the evening. And I want to tell you what this has done for my inflammation and my anxiety. Okay. Like literally, that's it. And I was taking this for 3 weeks, just over 3 weeks. And I was like, this stuff isn't working. I'm going to stop. And I was like, you know what? The bottle's like, I had a bottle and it was like almost empty or whatever. I'll just finish taking it. I have not had an anxiety attack. And you're talking to a guy who had an anxiety attack daily. You guys don't know this because you just see what's on camera. I haven't had one since literally the day before this started working. Only thing I've changed in my life, ladies and gentlemen, is using this. So you want to call it a scam, go ahead. I'm going to sit here and tell you I hate pharmaceutical companies. I found something natural that works, and I'm going to continue to use it. And now he talks about another product that's coming out, or that is out, and I'm going to use that one too. Because this one worked. I'm hoping that one works as well. And that's what my biggest thing when I've told people about this, and it's happened multiple times, is they're followers of mine. And these are diehard people. Like they are, like, you know how we have different ranges? We have centrists and we have rights, and then we have like far rights and whatever else. They're all over the map. These are people that swear that the pharmaceutical company's out to get us and hurt us and harm us. And then I tell them about this. They're like, that don't work. I literally just told you it works. I literally just told you what it does for me. So much that, you know, I now tell everybody about this. And this is why I go live and I talk about it. And like I said, I've been looking for something for a very long time. And I have gone with, because I get people come and approach me about different business opportunities all the time, different naturopathic products. It happens all the time. My answer is always the same. I will not promote it unless it works. Well, this is the first one I've ever promoted in my 5.5 years on social media, or 6 years on social media. So this is the only one that has worked so far. I'm going to stick with it. Inflammation, I snack less, and I have zero anxiety. I'm going to keep using it.
I have similar results. Digestion. I don't get near as bad heartburn and indigestion as I used to. When I was traveling a couple weeks ago, I kind of, I forgot to bring enough, and I didn't have it. And I noticed it was a notable increase in my, my quick to angerness, I guess, probably anxiety. Yeah. So yeah, it absolutely does something. Now some people won't see anything. They won't notice anything. But what we're talking about here, and why I'm so into this, is because these are foundational things, right? This isn't like saying, oh, take this and it's going to cure this. What it is, and I've wrote a couple blogs about this, folks. You can go check it out, whistlestoptruckstop.ca/blog. I think I've got 3 of them on this particular product. What it's doing is it's putting your body into a state where it can do things on its own, do what it's supposed to do. It works on the gut-brain connection, which is your vagus nerve. Your vagus nerve controls about 1,100 processes in your body. And when it's working properly, good things happen. But also, when it's working properly, it prevents some bad things from happening, or can prevent bad things from happening. Some of the research that I saw, there is legit research on this. They monitored people's, what do they call it? KPIs, key point progress indicators, whatever. Blood sugar, urinalysis, stool analysis, body fat indicators, those types of things. And it does have an effect. People might not feel anything. They might not know what's going on, but it does have an effect on your body. Now, this next product, Vericel, which is based off Manitech, and I see someone on there that says they still order it. I'll tell you that this stuff, I met Sam Castor, the guy, I have a picture of him, I put it on Facebook, the guy that developed the Manitech product. And he told us why this one is the one that he recommends now. It's 4 times as strong as the Manitech stuff for starters. So anyway, what this does is it helps your gut rebuild its biome and mucal layer. And you have no idea how important those things are unless you know a guy named Joe Rogan who's been talking about this for almost a decade. This is pretty new stuff. It's really only been talked about in the last 15, 20 years, mainstream in the last 5, 6 years. And that's what this product does. So there's all sorts of interesting things. And we're talking about, helping bodies do what they're supposed to do and deal with the issues that we have from an incessant attack from poisons and toxins in our environment. That's what it is. Not a
Yeah.
cure for anything.
100%. 100%. And I put out there in the chat just the email, because I put a whole dedicated email to this because people are interested in this. So fix@bertaprouddad.com, PHIX @bertaprouddad.com if anybody's interested in more information or anything like that. But I only want serious people. Like, this is where I'm not a salesman. I'm good at selling t-shirts and hats. Okay. I want people who actually are looking to that understands first and foremost that pharmaceutical companies are garbage. They want to make us sick, keep us sick so they can make tons of money. I want people who understand that naturopath actually does work. That, science behind naturopath does work. I want people that actually want to be part of something and share this as well. Because the only way to defeat pharmaceutical companies, ladies and gentlemen, is don't hold it to yourself. Don't sit there and be like, yeah, my anxiety's better, my inflammation's down, or my gut's better. You got to share it. You have to, because there's so many pills. You know what they want to give me for my anxiety? Ativan. Does anybody know what Ativan is? It's an addictive substance.
Yeah.
I'm an addict in recovery. The last thing I need is Ativan. And you want to know what I was doing before Fix to get rid of my anxiety? I was jumping in a very cold shower to trigger my vagus nerve. And if you've ever done that, it sucks. Like, it just, when you got to do it 3 times a day or 4 times a day, it's very inconvenient. Doesn't really work that well when you're in a shopping mall. What are you gonna do? Jump in the urinal? You know what I mean? Like, it's not something that you can do. So I literally found a product that works. There's more products coming out. I want people who understand pharmaceutical companies are garbage. Sharing is important, and being part of something with me and with Chris in building something together. That's what I'm looking for. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But everybody I've talked to that has been using this, it works. So I needed this a long time ago, and I'm just happy I have it today.
That's the other part of this. You mentioned that you want people that are serious about this. I was so excited about some of the things I've heard this has done for other people. For instance, my friend Nikki Rempel, who is extremely successful with this, by the way. One of the reasons she got excited and started really building and promoting this peer-to-peer commerce thing was because she was on antidepressants for, I think she says 26 or 27 years. 27 years on pharmaceutical interventions for anxiety and depression. Well, she started taking this stuff because she wanted to burn visceral fat and lose a little bit of weight, which this does. It triggers your body to burn visceral fat, although it's not a weight loss drug. That's a coincidence, is that it burns visceral fat. Well, she didn't lose any weight, but what she noticed was she didn't feel like she needed her meds anymore, so she slowly stopped taking them. Now she doesn't take them. She hasn't taken them for almost 2 years. And the only thing she changed was she used the mature bitter hops extract. And I was like, wow, that's interesting. But what if it was a placebo? So then I start doing some research, and that's why I wrote the blog article, because I dug into the mechanism of action behind that. And I found out that, yes, that is a legit thing that can specifically do that. And if that's something your body needs to deal with, it will deal with it when it's in that state. So then all of these things together, I start hearing more and more testimonials. And then it's like, oh, shit. Now I know, I've heard it and I've seen it, and I can't unhear it and I can't unsee it. Now I have to tell people. Now I have to tell people that there's this product that does this thing or could possibly do this thing for you. And they're going to ask me, where do you get it? And I'm going to say, oh, it's an MLM thing. And, that can't possibly work. I'll just stick with my thing from Pfizer. Well, man, it's a tough egg to crack, but a lot of people have taken that plunge and a lot of people have had success. And now with this new product, this is why I'm even more excited, specifically after going to Kansas. I hated MLM in the past because I tried some before, and I never had any success with it because I never really did any work, right? And I just automatically discounted it. Now I see this, and I hear the things I can't unhear, see the things I can't unsee, and now I have to be involved in this because I know it can help people. And I'm thinking, well, why is it like this? And it clicked. It's because it's peer-to-peer commerce. We're in an age now where trust is broken everywhere with pharma,
Yep.
with the internet, with the media, with radio, everywhere. The trust is gone. So when it's you talking to someone you know about something you're using, that is a relationship and a commerce model that can work. And if you can make money doing it, why wouldn't you do it? You make money,
Yeah,
and you help people. The two greatest things on the planet. Maybe I said them backwards, but why wouldn't you?
And the thing is too, like this is the wild thing for me is I hear from people all the time. So I don't tell people this, but part of the business that Leslie and I have at Berta Proud Enterprises is there's a lot of people that are down on their luck, and we did this from the start, and we used to promote it and tell people they pretty much got it shut down, but we help people all the time, right? That are going through hard times. Like, they followers, longtime followers, hey, I need $100. I need $200. I need whatever. I need to buy diapers. Like, we've always been that part of our business is to give back a little bit. Right. So I see that other side, how hard it is for people, and it's hard for us. I got a son who's graduating university just in the next couple of weeks, and then he's off to 2 more years of university. He's been in university for 4 years, right? I know how expensive things are and how life is. I got a daughter who plays travel ball. Like I understand that, life is expensive, and so many other people do. So then you find a product that actually works for you. Then you find a product that can gain you some extra income. But not only that, when you have Chris Scott and Berta Proud Dad on your team,
yes, sir,
we're going to share it for you. Literally
more.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to share it for you. We're going to bring you in. We're going to talk to you. We're going to show up to your events. Because this isn't just, do you know how much of my life I got back? Because if you've ever had anxiety, you know exactly what it's like to go a week without having an anxiety attack. And you're like, wow, that was the best week ever. And then you have an anxiety attack, right? I have not had one in months, folks, in months. And all I changed was I started Fix. That was it. And like I said earlier, I told Chris when I started, I ain't sharing it if it don't work. And I stuck to that because 30 other ones before this that didn't work, I never shared.
There's other things. One of the interesting things that I've heard from a person very close to me, and if you've ever experienced this, then you would know how much of a relief this would be. This is the pun intended. She poops now. People are having proper bowel movements. If you are the type of person that doesn't have proper bowel movements and it's a struggle and frustrating for you, you know that you can be absolutely miserable. Well, imagine if that just went away and your body was doing what it was supposed to be doing. It's to someone who doesn't have that problem, it doesn't sound like a life-changing thing, but to someone who does, that is a life-changing thing. Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm going to be free and transparent here, folks. Never had the problem. but one day, it's a good thing to know, right? If I'm a little bunged up, I can worry on, I can just grab my old Fix. But the thing I have an elderly relative that does have that problem, and it's painful. It's absolutely painful. And
very unhealthy.
And I'm going to be seeing them in the next couple of weeks here. So I'm actually going to bring some of this with me, and we're going to see if it works.
Yep, absolutely. So here's another part of it. 2 comments I've seen roll by that I forgot to put up. Sorry, folks. One of them was, yeah, well, I'm sure it works fine, but it's however much a month. And if you want a number, a 1 serving, if you're a retailer, if you're a sales rep, it's about $110 a month. 2 servings, I think, is about 180. I do the 2 servings. And I thought it was expensive at first too. And then I started thinking, wait a minute. If I want to do something, I will figure out how to do it, right? So then I start looking at my life, and I realized I was drinking 2 large Starbucks chai lattes every day. They're $8 each. That's $16 a day I was spending on poison that I was putting in my body. So not only did I buy a product that could be and is beneficial to my health, I also cut out something that wasn't. So it was a double win, and it was a choice I made to stop being a victim to my own finances, take control of something, and do something I wanted to do. Now I make a little bit of money at it. Here's the other part. I watched someone say, I'm not a salesman. I could never do this. what I witnessed in Kansas was a leadership team that is 100% dedicated to making sure that you have tools that you need to bring people into this. Okay. Like these are the top 10 income earners in the company. And it's no small number, folks. It's more than I used to make in a year. They're making in a month. They jump on Zooms with me. If I get 5 people together, I say, hey, Terry, these 5 people want to see what's going on. They're interested. Can we do something? He's like, yeah, when you want to do it. And he does it. Then they rolled out a new app, and this app like does everything for you. It prompts you on how to talk to people. It tracks your progress. It supplies links that you can share with people. It's like you share one video with someone, they go through 1, 2, 3 parts of the video, and if they're interested, they'll sign up. That's all it is. So it's not like when I was 17 years old and someone convinced me to sell Amway because I liked the laundry soap and the taste of the meal replacer. We didn't have any of that. Nobody had any of that. And now this company has an app that does everything for you. You don't need to be a salesman. All you have to do is plug people into this, and they get all the help you need from the people that know what they're doing. And I still don't know what I'm doing. All I know how to do is talk to this webcam and internet land and share my life experiences. And by doing that, I've brought 160 people in already. Mm-hmm. And people can do that, especially with with you, Lawrence. If people come in on your team, you're building their team as well. So you got like 800,000 followers on social media or in your platforms or something, right? Your audience is huge. So when you talk about this, people listen, and you're building the people that are on your team. It's awesome.
Yeah, and that's what I provide to my team. And I have somebody as well who's working on the fixed end of it as well. She's awesome. She's amazing, and she runs my email for me, and she's very knowledgeable in it, and she's very up to date on the products and everything else, and she's absolutely killing it. Because I'm all like you, I'm busy as well. But the big thing for me is to get out there and share and make sure that I'm reaping the rewards and benefits on the health side from it. So I got to make sure that other people are as well. I saw in the chat that somebody said, "Oh, it's really expensive." No, it's not. It actually isn't, because
Starbucks is expensive.
You know what's expensive? Ativan. Ativan's expensive. Not just money, but what it can actually do to me. Starbucks is expensive. Making changes. And that's what I find a lot of people is they're not willing to take the conveniences out of their life for their own health. And that's where we are in society now, though. We are. There's people that are like, nope, I'm not willing to take my conveniences out to fix my health until they're laid up in a hospital bed and they're like, man, I probably should have fixed my health.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chronic conditions. People spend trillions of dollars globally on chronic conditions, which are largely based on inflammation. Do you know what the number one thing your body deals with when it's in a rest and digest state? Inflammation.
Yeah. Inflammation. And ankylosing spondylitis is an inflammatory disease, and with that can come a lot of other things. And I'm actually going to get my my blood test 3 days from now, and we're going to see where my inflammation levels are at, if they're lower than my last ones, and I'm curious to see. But I feel better, and I'm a guy who works out pretty much 5 days a week, and I'm more limber in the gym, and I'm lifting better, and I just feel better, and I haven't changed anything. That's the thing, is I've taken this, and that's it. There's nothing else that has changed in my life. So yeah.
Some folks are asking, where do we get this? How do we get it? Chantel, I imagine, and Lawrence are going to go through, and they're going to send you messages and give you their link and tell you about it. You can find mine on my blog in those blogs, whistlestoptruckstop.ca/blog. My link is there, but I will go through the comments after. The one thing I would ask folks, don't just Google this, find the page, and then order randomly, because what's going to happen is you're going to be added to some random person that you don't know's team. It won't be me or Lawrence, and you're kind of going to be stuck there. So just wait for us to get in touch with you. Send me an email, send Lawrence an email. I'm happy if everyone signs up under Lawrence, because Lawrence is on my team, and when he benefits, I benefit. So that's part of what I want to do, is I want to help him build, just like I want to help you build. But additionally to this, you might be wondering, why are we spending so much time talking about this in a podcast where we're doing a weekly wrap up? Because it's important. My if I had to tell you one word that described what I want to change and what I want to be better in my life and in people's lives around me, it's sovereignty. I want people to take control of their health. I want to help people take control of their wealth. I want to help people take control of Alberta. And so we can do things on our own, because when you take control of the things in which you can, you stop being a victim and you start changing things. That's the idea. And that I've watched people be successful with this. As a matter of fact, the second highest income earner in this particular company, 22 months ago, she actually saved up for 2 months to get into this. Saved up for 2 months, and now she makes more in a month, US, than I made in a year as a well site supervisor in the Alberta oil patch.
Good for her.
I kid you not. So you might say, "Oh, I can't afford it. I can't afford it." Other people have said that. It all depends on what you want. What do you want, and are you going to go and get it?
Yeah, no, 100%. And what I say to people too, as Steve just said, I understand, but Canada's effed right now. You're absolutely correct. Canada is, and I want to be in the best shape of my life to ensure, and the best health of my life to ensure that, you know, if something does go down, I'm ready to go down. You know what I mean? I'm prepared for it. And that involves me eating better. It involves me being in the gym. You can't have an anxiety attack in the middle of something. Like this is just added to my health regiment already. That's basically what this is. And it's gone leaps and bounds, and I have nothing but good things to say about it. Like I said, I took a drop here. It doesn't, people are like, "Oh, you're weird. You take a drop." I put it in my coffee. I do. I put it in my coffee in the morning.
That's what I do too.
And then I put it in a glass of water with I don't know, whatever at night. It doesn't matter if it's just water, it could be anything. But tonight I just decided to do it this way. Now, if I'm going to go up to bed and I don't have a glass of water because I'm going to bed and I forgot, I just take the dropper and put it in. I always do it like that. But it's, to me, you know, like Chris said, it's the weekly wrap up. Why are you talking about this? Because it's working for Chris. It's working for myself. Why it would be a disservice to my followers and the people who watch me every day, because when you have 800,000 followers over all platforms, you have people with gut problems, you have people with anxiety issues, you have people with, you know, inflammation issues. They have there's so many other issues out there that this could benefit them. It would literally be a disservice to my followers if I didn't share it. And it's literally giving me a portion of my life back. So I'm not even ashamed to share. I'm going to be doing this a lot more too, sharing it and making sure that people, you know, at least have a look at it or at least try it.
Yeah, it's definitely worth a look. And, you know, this actually got me interested in making different choices, which has cost me a little bit more money, but I think I know it'll be worth it in the end. When I started with this, like the company that does this has more than just these two products. They have a Slim Core Java coffee that's, you know, helps you to skip meals, and it's all natural stuff. It's even the caffeine in it is it's a green coffee bean caffeine, all organic. It's a different thing, right? And I stopped drinking coffee about 9-10 months ago, the same time I quit drinking, and I miss coffee. So now I try this, and it's a healthier choice. One of the other things I did is I stopped using my laundry detergent that was full of poisons and toxins and hormone disruptors, and I use one, buying it from myself. I do my laundry with it, and so I'm not being poisoned every time I do laundry. I replaced my multivitamin with a vitamin from this company. So all in all, I bet you I've replaced $400 or $500 a month worth of things that I already used.
Yeah,
buying it from myself, and they're all healthier choices. So I'm thinking
100%.
differently than I did before.
Yeah, and that's the important thing is when I find something that works, whether it be you know, a certain workout in the gym, like something that, you know, because I have a bad shoulder, you know, so I gotta find whatever works. When I find something that works and it's changing the trajectory of my life, I try not to hold the cards close to my chest. My wife's taking this stuff now. Like it's, you know, she just started. You know, I'm going to be bringing some to my parents, get them to try it. But the thing is I'm just going to keep sharing it, and it allows me to do what I'm doing every single day, from the podcast to the interviews to traveling all over Alberta to, doing the things that we have to do as patriots and try to get our province back. It just coincides with it. So
another product I started using was a mineral-based deodorant. I did a little bit of reading on what deodorant does to your body, what it's putting in your body, and your armpit is it's thin skin. It's right near your lymph nodes, things like that. It was absolutely horrifying what I found. So I was like, well, I'm going to try this. And it does work. Towards the end of the day, I could be like, okay, well, I know that I'm sweaty a little bit and I'm going to need a shower, but other people don't. And I can always reapply. But my point is, there's all sorts of different things. Now, from a business perspective, if you're the kind of person who's like, hey, I love sharing stuff like this with people, especially when the system is set up to do all the work for me. The leadership is going to bend over backwards to help me build, and there's an opportunity to make money. If you're that kind of person, you have all sorts of products that you can talk about. We only talk about these two because they're the most amazing products in the world, I think. But there's a lot more. And the company has a vision to basically roll out something life-changing, nutraceutical-wise, every 2 years kind of thing, which is really an excitement cycle for a peer-to-peer commerce program. So if you want to build something, this is the way to do it. The nutraceutical, the health, natural health industry, I think right now it's something like 6 trillion or some weird number like that. It's projected to hit 10 trillion by 2030. 10 trillion. That's
people
huge increase.
Yeah, people don't trust pharmaceuticals, right? They don't trust the system. So this is how bad I've gotten. If I have a headache, I don't pop an Advil. I try to get rid of it by drinking more water. That's literally what I do. I'm like, nope, don't want an Advil. Maybe I'm dehydrated. I'll try everything before that, right? I used to take melatonin all the time. I don't even take melatonin anymore. I used to pop I guess somebody asked about inflammation. This is actually, I'm just finding this out. Well, not finding it out, but this actually happened. So I used to take 4 Advil a day, and I haven't taken an Advil. I don't even know the last time I took an Advil. So there you go. It's obviously helping with inflammation. So there's that part too.
Yep, absolutely. I'm just trying to put, how do I do this? Scroll across the bottom. I'm trying to put that up on the screen, but I'm not actually doing very well at it. There we go. Let me try this. Let's see. Did it work? Oh, look at that. Wow, I'm a professional. So there you go, folks. I don't know how much we need to talk about that anymore, but I could talk about it for hours and share some of the other stuff I've heard about it. But if you remember anything, remember this. I have a social media audience. I am well aware that what I talk about on social media will make or break my reputation. And I choose to talk about this because even though I'm well aware some people will, think it's a whatever, there are people that are being helped with it. I believe in it and I know it can work. So that's why I'm sharing it.
Me too.
So hopefully that means something to you.
Yeah, and you're right. That crossed my mind too, but it only crossed my mind when it wasn't working yet for me, right? So when I almost quit, I was like, well, there's no way I can share this because it's not even doing anything. And then it works. And then who cares if you're sharing it? Because if it's actually working, it's going to work for somebody else. And I've always been the guy that says if somebody doesn't, there's people that don't like what I'm doing already. Right? They already don't like that I'm talking about out against the government. They already
I've never seen
don't
anyone like that yet.
Yeah, exactly. Right. They already don't like that I support Alberta independence. They already call me all these names in the book. They already make lies up about me, maim me, shame me, defame me. I don't care if this is going to help somebody somewhere along the line that they're going through something that they feel there's no way out or they're on pharmaceuticals. If this is going to help them, I'm here to help them. And all those naysayers, they don't mean anything to me. Anyway.
Yeah. Or on the other side of that coin, it could be, a single mom or whoever that is having trouble finding work that she can do from home while raising her kids. There's I ran into at least 24 people like that at this conference who are now making a livable income on this just by following the program and sharing. And like I said, when the new app dropped during the conference, that changed everything. It just made it easier. And now people who a month ago wouldn't have been able to do the sales thing or talk to people. Now they literally have to send one video, and it's 1, 2, 3 videos done. Either they do or they don't. You move on to the next one. So it's a pretty cool thing.
Yeah,
now,
no, that's super cool.
Speaking of talking and sharing with people, we have the Let's Talk Alberta tour has roughly 200 events to do between now and October 16th or so. That's a lot of events, folks. Berta's going to try and get to a good chunk of them. I'm going to get to 60. Yeah. I'm going to get to
60.
That's a good number, good round number. I'm going to get to as many as I can. There's a few weeks over the summer where I won't be able to, because we have, number one, we got the July 1st long weekend at the Whistle Stop Cafe in Mirror, Alberta, which, by the way, awesome. Camping will be free for that week. We're going to have bands. We're going to have barbecue. You don't have to pay. This is a community event. It's free for everyone. There's going to be a pile of vendors. If you want to be a vendor, you're going to have to get a hold of that grumpy guy 39 at gmail.com. I'll put it in the comments after.
I want to be a vendor.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Folks, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be absolutely awesome. We're going to have so much fun. But of course, I won't be able to be traveling around Alberta for that week, right? Because I'll be busy with that. May 2nd, we have a fundraiser coming up for the Let's Talk Alberta tour. I've been personally financing all of this, crossing my fingers, hoping that as we pass the bucket at the events that I'll break even. I haven't really been breaking even, but that's okay. I don't mind feeding it a little bit, but we're going to need help, and we're going to need help soon, because booking 200 venues, folks, we look at it's about $2,000 an event to do it. Do the math. I don't have that kind of money.
$400K.
Yeah, we need some help. We got to raise some cash so we have enough money to start booking events
May 2nd.
in the future. May 2nd at the Whistle Stop Cafe. We're going to do a fundraiser. Our next pierogi dinner is this coming week in Delburn. It's going to be fantastic. Finally going to feed Lawrence some pierogies and mess up his diet. He's going to have to do a whole bunch more chin-ups when he gets home. So ladies, watch for the TikTok videos there. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. And we're going to be all over the province from now until October. And it's going to be a lot of work, but it is well worth it, because this conversation about Alberta sovereignty needs to get to every corner of the province, for sure.
Yeah, no, it really does. And I've been to these events. If you haven't been to a Let's Talk Alberta event, please go check it out. Chris does a really good job, and all the other speakers actually do really, really good jobs. And then there's me. Some of them you get to come meet me at. It's the best part when we talked about building community earlier on in the show, coming out and speaking with people, asking hard questions, or just having a conversation, a dialogue, and be able to look into somebody's eyes and feel their passion or their frustration. It brings a humanity to it. So I just encourage everybody, if you can make it to Delburn this week, please make it to Delburn. Please be there. I'm going to be there. I want to see you there. And I'm bringing a bunch of people with me too. So I really want to see Delburn packed. That's what I want to see.
Do you think I need to get extra pierogies?
Yes.
I think so too.
I think so. Well, I'm going to share it like crazy. But yeah, I want to see everybody in Delburn. I want to see people, that maybe have been to one event but haven't been to a while, come to another one, or maybe they went to a Stay Free event, not a Let's Talk Alberta event. Come to see a Let's Talk Alberta event. There's different speakers on the circuits. There's different people out there. I just want to see more people come out there, because it truly is inspirational and engaging. And, you just get to talk to other people and see a different perspective. It's important. It's important to me. So, and then those 60 events that I'm going to do, I'm hoping to see a lot of people during that as well.
And these events, these are for everybody. Yes, it is true that I'm speaking from a pro-Alberta independence standpoint, of course. But I really hope and pray that people who disagree with me will come and ask questions. Tell me why they disagree, and I would love to talk to them about it. If you come and you question bomb, and that is like ask 50 questions about what color the uniform of Alberta military is going to be, things like that, we can't do that. We can talk about some things after. But what I'm trying to get at is these are for everyone. It's not just for people who agree with Alberta independence. If you agree, you should come so you learn some more things. Maybe get some motivation to help you talk to your friends and your neighbors, get some ideas of things to say. If you disagree, you can come and try and change my mind. That would be absolutely fantastic. Maybe you'll learn something. Maybe I'll learn something. We'll get closer to a good outcome. Maybe you're on the fence and you just have a few things that you need to be more comfortable with before you can make that decision, right? So it's really for everybody at all stages of the independence conversation, as long as they're respectful and polite. It is finite time that we have, so we can't have people, debating for an hour or 2 hours, because then nobody else will get to answer questions. But at least we'll get to meet face to face, and we can do our best to have a conversation. They really are a good time.
Yeah, they are, and you know what? From some of the people that have disagreements, like your event is like they're very good at giving the people time at the microphone, but eventually you got to be like, okay, buddy, like talk to me after. And I've seen you sit there and have conversations after the events. I've sat there and had conversations after the events. And, I even sat yesterday after Jason Levine's show. There was a couple people that had some questions about things that some of them I didn't even have answers for. And I sent them to other people. But the thing is, we'll give you the time, but yeah, don't be a mic hog, because when that happens, if I'm there, you guys have seen my videos.
Yeah. We're polite, but sometimes you have to be a little bit firm. There's a question in the comments from Mapleboy46. I'm assuming it's a pro Canada, Alberta in Canada commenter. That's okay. The question is, if I have a different opinion than you treat, they're trying to ask if they have a different opinion than me, will I treat them differently? Yes, I will. I'm not going to be disrespectful or mean, but I will treat you differently because I want to engage in a conversation with you. The people that agree with me, I'll treat them differently than you, because the conversation doesn't have to be as robust and full, right? I'm more interested in talking to people that disagree with me and trying to change their mind or alleviate their concerns than I am having recognition or props from people who agree with me. Not that that's not important, but my focus and my goal is to pursue a path to Alberta independence, and that requires talking to people who disagree with me. So
yeah, and that's the thing, right? Is people need to realize that real life is not the internet, and real life is not a comment section. So I have been threatened a ton, just like Chris has. I have never been threatened in real life. Somebody hasn't come up to me and said to me to my face that they want to bash my head in. It happens about 140 times a day on the internet. But once you get into real life, nobody is going to sit there and treat you disrespectful. That's not the purpose of these events. But this is how I govern myself. I will match your energy. I absolutely will. And that's how I govern myself. And I've always been like that before I was on social media. If you're a dick, you're going to get it back, whether you're in a comment section or you're in person. It doesn't matter to me. But the thing is what I've noticed, speaking at these events, is nobody's a dick.
No,
it's not like it's not like the comment sections. It's not like the peanut gallery on the internet. People disagree, yes, but people are respectful in their disagreement, just like we are respectful in our rebuttal, right?
Yeah, this brings up the point of Billboard Chris. So I recently, today, I guess, I noticed that Billboard Chris had texted in opposition to Alberta independence. And I was like, oh, that's a little depressing, but whatever. He's from BC. Maybe he doesn't know all of the things that are going on in Alberta, and I'd like to talk to him about it. So I kind of put a challenge up there. I said, I'll debate you on this topic any time. And in the comment section, there was some things like, being really hard on, I shouldn't say it like that, being very difficult towards Chris, saying things like, oh, he's just a grifter during COVID. I don't agree with any of that stuff. I think he's awesome. No. I think the work he's doing is fantastic. We disagree on the topic of Alberta independence, but I want to talk to him about it, right? Because he's a big voice. He's got a big following, and people pay attention to what he says. And in my opinion, right now, what he is saying about Alberta independence is misinforming people as to the facts. So we should have a conversation. I hope he attends a Let's Talk Alberta event. And if any of you know how to get a hold of him, please send him a message. Say, hey, This guy, this burger flipper in Alberta has said he wants to invite you to one of his Alberta Independence events to talk about this. Happy to do it. I think it would be wonderful.
Yeah, no, it would be. And I have mad respect for Billboard Chris as well. And like, this is the part of the independence movement that I shy away from, actually. And I don't engage with people who are like this, because I've seen it in our own movement where somebody doesn't think like them, or they basically like go on a big, huge rant, right? And I get it. I'll match energy. But when somebody's like, it'll never happen, and that's their only comment, and you decide to light them up like crazy, that's not a way to have a dialogue or discussion. But when I've lit people up for various reasons, but not something like that. But look at the premier, for instance. Okay. She believes in a sovereign Alberta with a united Canada, exact same place I was. I'm no longer there. I have some very good friends of mine too, that I'm not going to say their name, but if I said their name, you guys would know who they are, that don't agree with me either on independence. But guess what? We're still friends, because we don't allow this to, like, real life is not the internet. I can't say that more enough. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. The thing is we're there to educate. We're there to tell our perspective. For instance, my speech at these events is, how did I get here? How did I get to Alberta independence and being a supporter of Alberta independence after I pushed for Pierre Poilievre so hard in Battle River Crowfoot, to the point that the man called me on the phone to say thank you, right? And I was just recently invited to the Conservative National Convention in Calgary as an influencer to cover the convention. And because they wanted me there, they probably don't want me there anymore, but that's okay. But the thing is I went and I spent the whole convention talking about Alberta independence. How did I get there? That is my conversation. And then people say, well, you're a traitor to Canada. What is a traitor? What is a traitor? Because when I look at it, I see what the government has done during the jab days, and the people that have injuries from that, and they're not doing anything for that. And they're trying to, the pharmaceutical companies are trying to throw the government under the bus. The government's trying to throw the pharmaceutical companies under the bus. At whose expense? Your children, or you, or your spouses. Those are the traitors. Those are the people that went against us. They're supposed to take care of us, or we were sold it as that. So, I laugh when people call us these names, but I'm not going to. I just encourage people to come out to the events. There's over 200 events that Let's Talk Alberta is going to do. There is no reason that somebody can't stream into an event or attend an event, because I do know we take questions online as well, right?
We try to, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's not easy. I'm not a professional.
No.
I'm not a journalist or anything. I'm a guy like you. I started off as a guy with a camera. Now I've got a different camera now, and I've got some equipment, and I kind of do what I acquire the things I think I need to get the information to people, and that's turned out to be quite expensive, but I'm a nerd, so it's fun. But at the events when we're live streaming, it's usually my phone that's live streaming, so I can't obviously go and check the comments. That's why, folks, if you have a question that comes up, we don't answer it right then. It's unfortunate that that's the way it is. I'm going to try and do something a little bit differently. Maybe we can find someone to do some AV, like kind of the same thing what Max does, but Max can't be at all of them, where they can watch comments and field comments from internet land. But really, the best thing to do is attend an event near you. And that's why we're doing so many events, is because there will be no excuse. We're going to be in your town or near your town. We're going to be in Rainbow Lake. We're going to be in Fort Macleod. We're going to be in a little town, actually just east of you, Lawrence, with like 6 people in it. Why? Because they have a community hall, and I want to talk to those 6 people. We're going to be everywhere, so you can come to one.
Yeah, and I want to be at as many as I can, especially ones that are close to me. But the thing is I like to ask questions after the event is done, like even to somebody who walked in and said, they supported independence before. I like to ask if they learned anything. and every single person learns something new or looks at something differently or has a different idea. And like I said, it's very easy to go online and bitch, whine, and complain about our country. But I got to ask the question all the time, well, what are you doing? Right? Well, I was just in Fort McMurray, right? I was just in Red Deer. I got the podcast. I got people coming on the show that are very well versed in this. Chris has been on the show. You know, what am I doing? I'm educating.
We're doing what we can, right?
Yeah, we're doing what we can with what we have and allowing people to make their own informed decision based off of the information they've gotten, or to critically think, and then, you know, go and do some more research. And then I always ask those people, what are you doing? And they don't have an answer, right? They don't. And at the end of the day, they don't have to have an answer. And here's the best part, Chris. I don't need their permission.
Good point.
Right? Or their validation to go out there and use my God-given freedom of speech to go and talk about why I love my province. I don't need their permission.
Bingo.
So, yeah.
I'm going to put a comment on the screen. Obviously, it's someone who disagrees with me. Their name isn't their real name, so I don't feel bad about doing it to them. These are the people that need to come to the events. Mapleboy46 says, Republic of Alberta, I don't know what W5P means. What mean you start from zero to with restart, then negotiation? You would have no army. If you want protection, have to join NATO. No, none of that is right. And I'm happy to talk to you about it. Come to an event. Put your hand up when we ask if you have an opposition to Alberta independence, and I'll talk to you about it. If you're from Quebec, which you may be because your English is a little bit kind of almost French, honestly, I don't care what you think. But if you're an Albertan and you're going to vote about Alberta sovereignty, I 100% do care what you think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I treat everybody in Alberta that does get a vote like they do get a vote, right? So when people are coming at me, because we do see it talking about Alberta independence, I would say 70% of the comments that say we can't do it aren't even people who live here. Yeah. They're not even from here. And I'm like, okay, it's all good. Like, you guys go do you. I'm interested in talking to Albertans when it comes down to it. I'll talk about Canada all day, and I'm okay with that. But when it comes to Alberta independence, the only voices that matter to me around Alberta independence are Albertans. Mm-hmm. It's our backyard that's going to change.
That's right.
Right?
Well, we're an hour and a half into it. We generally try and stick to an hour, but I know we could go an hour and a half more.
Yes.
I don't think we should because it's Sunday night. It's just about 9:00. So maybe we'll wrap it up here. There are a lot of questions about Alberta independence in the comments. Folks, we don't have time right now to go through all of the questions about all things Alberta independence. However, you can go back to either of our Facebook pages. We have lots of podcasts we've done. You can go check out whistlestoptruckstop.ca/blog. I've written a number of articles on Alberta independence. There's one in there. It's quite exhaustive, and it goes through all of those things: currency, military, pensions, borders, treaties, like all of the go-to questions about it. It's all there. Please take the time to read it. You can't say that I don't try and answer these questions just because I don't answer them all on a podcast. We have lives, and it would take us hours and hours and hours if we had to do the same thing over and over and over again. But I have done it. On my YouTube channel, there's also 3 or 4 videos I specifically answering questions about Alberta independence from the comments. I spent so long doing it, I actually wore out my voice and got a throat thing and had a hard time talking for a few weeks. So I'm doing everything I can to answer these questions. Please don't make me do it too much. Go back and look at the stuff first before you bring new questions. That would help out a lot.
Yeah, for sure. All right, buddy. Well, this was great. Yeah. We got to do this more often, at least. Well, we said we were going to try for once a week, but
we should do it once a week. It's good to catch up and kind of go over this stuff because I mean the world is literally changing every week, right?
It is. I'm going to wake up tomorrow and it's going to be something completely different. Donald Trump is, I don't know, shit in some other part of the world, and I got to, our gas prices go up or something. I don't know.
Oh, Gas prices.
Yes.
Folks, quit crapping on the gas stations. It's not their fault. We buy gas from a supplier. We pay for it when we get it. We put it in our tanks. It's cost us that. We price the gas. That's it. Period. It's not the gas stations that's gouging. If you want Alberta to have low gas prices because we have so much oil, and by the way, we refine all of the gas and diesel we could use in Alberta. We don't need to do anymore. We make enough for our own use. Something needs to change, and we can do it in an independent Alberta differently than we do right now. But those oil companies that extract the resource and refine it and sell it to you, they sell it at world market prices, period.
Mm-hmm.
So if the world
and that's
prices
how it
go
works.
Up, it's not the gas stations gouging.
No,
it's the big.
No, it's not the gas stations gouging, and you guys do get shit on quite a bit for that. So I'm gonna do a video about that. Actually, it's important.
100%. Yep.
Yeah. All right, buddy.
All right. Well, thank you very much for your time. I look forward to seeing you in Delburn to enjoy some pierogies.
And I hope to see a lot of people in this chat in Delburn as well. And thanks for everything you're doing, Chris. And thanks for everybody for watching. We appreciate it. And go get your fix, PHIX, and follow one of those links that are in the chat there.
Send us an email, and we'll get a link to you. You won't be sorry.
No, you won't.
All right, folks. Here's Stumpy. Have a good night. Where's Stumpy? Where are you? There you are. Meow.